Hey, I was going on back again with another Zombies video, and for this one, it's something that I've been meaning to do for the last actually couple of years. And since we're in between a couple events that are coming up, mainly DLC 4 in Cold War, we're gonna get the Forsaken map. It's a week, so I figured I'd do this and kind of recap in a way all the maps in the Zombies mode, I guess, basically, since World at War, if I'm not mistaken. Luckily, it's pretty cool. I found this one. They put it um, in the order, or kind of in the order, it looks like. Well, they started doing it in the order, it looks like, and then I don't know what happened. Or maybe these are like the bonus ones down here, that's why. So, anyways, if you don't know, S is the best, and F is the worst. Everything comes in between that. I'll let you know right now. I don't think there's any map that I know of that's gonna probably be maybe a D or F. It's probably just gonna be A through B or C. And the criteria or the scale that I'm gonna use is pretty much everything to kind of help figure out what I like and don't like. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes with you might not like the map design. Maybe you like the song, the Easter egg song in the map, or others different stuff. Nostalgia is also going to play a factor in it. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, don't be surprised if I don't even touch C, D, or F. Because I mentioned before, I usually do a lot of research, backstory on the lore, the inspiration, even the songs and stuff like that. Just because it was something different, and I mentioned this really quickly before, and I'll mention it again really quickly. I didn't really like the answers YouTubers were giving, so I do my own research. A lot of times they give answers about lore, backstory, inspiration. They just kind of throw crap to the wall in hopes that something sticks. They do a little bit of research and they put it in the video, put it on YouTube, and make money off of it. So I do the most research, so I'm gonna probably know the most about each map. I'm not gonna break down every single map and every single little backstory, every single detail, every single little inspiration, but I am just gonna kind of maybe briefly talk about it, and I'm just gonna go in the order that they have it, just to kind of speed things up. Noctur on Toten, I'm not gonna put it in S. I'm actually gonna put it in A because obviously it was the prototype, was the first map. It came from the campaign, and it pretty much is everything that started it. Because it is a prototype, not it's not fine tuned. It didn't have perks. It didn't have. I don't think it had a music video at the time, so I'm gonna leave it in A for now. I mean, it is very nostalgic, and the work and pretty much the guts that it took to do something like that while they were pushing out a main game, according to Jesse Snyder. It was kind of like something they're doing like underground while the game was going on. It took a lot of guts, a lot of dedication over the weekend and late nights and stuff like that. So I probably maybe I'll put it at the end of S. But I understand, like I said, that's a lot of the backstory and lore that went into it. Um, but I'm just gonna hold it in A for now. I might tweak it a little bit. Again, I don't want to just throw everything in A, because if you think of every single detail, everything's just going to be an A, because everything in the zombies map, and I tell people, um, there is a lot of cleverness, high IQ stuff that goes into making the maps. Because maybe if somebody said, well, that belongs in like D or F, it's because they don't do their research, they don't practice the game, it's too difficult, they want to just be the best at zombies, and they don't put the work into it. So that's why people might use C, D, or F, but I specifically don't use C, D, or F. I'll just probably use the top three because, again, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Verrucht also, what Verrucht, let me see. Verrucht is actually going to go in S, and people might say, well, how's that? And, like I just said, I'm not going to throw anything in S. Noct is in A because, again, it's a prototype, even though there's a lot of work that went into it. Verrucht is where the real story starts and the real nostalgic stuff start kicking in. There was stories written on the wall. The atmosphere, the trailer was really good. The Easter egg song is probably the best. As far as like the early games and maps, I think Verrucht is probably up there in Derice. But if you really do your research, and you go literally in Verrucht and you Google everything on the wall, it all has a story and a backstory. It's just a matter of can you figure out what that means, because again, like I said, what goes into making the maps is you have to really think cleverly, like how the devs do it. Again, people always say, and it's number one question, why don't they revisit what they did in Varrook? Not necessarily duplicate the map, but maybe also why people liked World War II Zombies. It had that creepiness to it, dark trailers, dark creepiness. The zombies were pretty amazing, and it was just pretty scary and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to stay in S. I don't think I'll touch that. Shino Numa, I'm going to put that one, believe it or not, in, and I might contradict myself, but I'm actually going to put it in B, because, I mean, they do have the big 115, but there's no Pack-a-Punch. The dogs are a little bit too overpowering for me. If you get a good weapon out the box, maybe your first or second hit, you're more than likely going to survive. But if you don't, because you're going to have to choose in between buying a good weapon or perks and opening doors, and you have to try and guess where the perks are in Juggernaut is. So, but you know what? Actually, I'm going to put it in B, because I forgot about the Shadow Man Easter egg, and I just mentioned that recently a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago. The telephone Easter egg is the roots of the Shadow Man the Shadow Man himself. It was the first time we heard him, first time we found out about him. It was probably just an Easter egg, a scary Easter egg back then, but then they eventually evolved it through fan theories and stuff like that into the Shadow Man. We saw him in Black Ops 3, and then the rest is history, as they say. So that one actually stays in A. I forgot that the Shadow Man Easter egg is in there, and you can't. Everything after Black Ops 2, the number one thing that people love, I guess, is the Shadow Man and the Apothicons and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to leave him in A. Derice, also going to leave that in A. Whoops. I probably should have charged my mouse because it's not working great, because I know it's pretty much dying. Derice, again, I don't have to say too much about that. The Easter egg song, it's pretty easy. You get that's the first time that we had the Pack-a-Punch machine, and you pretty much Pack-a-Punch, you get your perks, and then you can kind of hang out in the courtyard. People hang out on the catwalk. I mean, I used to hang out on the catwalk when I first started, and I was noob, but I love training and hanging out in the courtyard by the power switch. Again, there's Easter eggs on it. Or maybe I should put, the more I talk about it, the more I convince myself that it probably should be in a higher tier. But that's the thing. I know everything is great. I know, you know what? Should I put it, because I know there's the Easter eggs there, and there's the 115. Is that one of the first times? No, we already saw the 115 prior to that. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm trying to think what else would bump it up to A. The radios. I know there's radios. I'm going to bump it up to S. I'm gonna put it in S for all those reasons, actually, because there's stuff down here that aren't as good as those. For some reason, the beginning map and nostalgia is always gonna be a big part. So next is Keno. Keno, hands down, is an S. Keno's used is one of the most important. There's so many different layers of Easter eggs and how important stuff is. Keno is hands down one of the most important maps. It was used in IW Zombies. It was used in Tag der Toten. That because the movie that we're seeing in Kino der Toten is what went down in Tag der Toten, maybe. So there's some backstory. There's Easter eggs to it. Movies are number one, the most important aspect of zombies, except for the zombies themselves, or besides the zombies. Without movies, or the movie's theme, I guess, you wouldn't have Keno. And every time there's a movie theater map in any game, it doesn't have to be Call of Duty, people love it. So I'm definitely leaving that there. These are pretty easy. Those, I mean, I don't have to convince anyone. Those are pretty much. Five, five is great. I'm gonna actually, like most people, put it in B because it's difficult for me. And I think almost too difficult. Maybe the thief, the Pentagon thief, makes it a little bit annoying and difficult. So I'm gonna leave him that there. I don't know. Although the Easter egg song is pretty amazing, so that's definitely gonna stay there. Um, the Easter egg song probably carried the map. I think when most people think of five, they think of the Easter egg song. So I'm gonna leave that there. And I'm trying to think what else. People are probably like, well, you're forgetting this, you're forgetting that. I know it's the presidents. And I'm just putting there for now. Like again, I might tweak it at the end. I'm trying to think what I might be forgetting. I know it was kind of sort of like the bonus map when you beat the campaign. That I know. Um, you can camp in the elevator, and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of what other stuff. If there's any like secret Easter eggs or lore that people don't know about that I can let them know why I'm keeping it there, or maybe why it should be bumped up. Um, the Wonder Weapon isn't great because don't you get the Winter's Howl in that? Is that where you get Winter's Howl, or is that another game? I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. Ascension, I'm gonna also leave in B. It's pretty important in the lore. I don't play it as much as I should, but it's a wide open map. I think maybe I'll play Ascension and give it more of a chance. I think it might just have too many doors. The backstory or the inspiration, according to Jimmy Zielinski, if you guys don't know this, is the Wizard of Oz, but there's not too much Wizard of Oz stuff. The monkeys are there. The monkeys you can see in the Wizard of Oz. They come and they steal stuff, I believe, in the Wizard of Oz. It starts in black and white when you turn on power. It goes to color. That's the same thing that happens, I believe, in the Wizard of Oz. I forget which part specifically. I think after she gets hit with the tornado or the house, she wakes up and it's in black in color. Stuff like that. So there's some important backstory there. But I'm still going to leave it in B, and I think I'm going to leave it in B more because I don't play it as much as I probably should. Because I am a Black Ops 2 kid at heart, so to speak. Everything prior to that is kind of a blur. Like most people, I think I started with Black Ops 2. Call of the Dead, is that important? That's kind of important, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna put it in the beginning of B because, like most people, George Romero is a little bit difficult. You freeze too much, and I think it's difficult. But I'm gonna leave it in B. I'm trying. There is a lot of backstory to it. It's just that like this is end up being really really long, so I'm trying to just not take too long. So Call of the Dead is pretty much it's maybe too hard to see. Though the you get frozen a lot. Funny enough. There's an Easter egg. I know the Easter egg's easy, and it has two types of Easter eggs, and it has premise and it has Ultimus in there. Trying to think what else. Maybe I should put it in B. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna leave it in B for now in the beginning. Shangri-La. I don't play it as much, but I think I'm gonna leave it in B. Because, and it's gonna lose points because, like, if you ever want to revisit some of these older games, you need 4 players, and either people are pretty terrible at the game, or the servers aren't there. But I mean, I know the devs, or if Call of Duty ever sees it, they're like, well, that's not our fault. You don't have anyone to play it with. But as far as backstory, the Mars thing was pretty cool. There might actually be some other backstory stuff, but I haven't talked about that yet, so I don't want to mention it until I can mention it in full. But there's some really good backstory for Shangri-La. I do like the backstory too, so maybe I should bump it up to A. You know what? Just because it's Shangri-La is mystical and it's pretty important, I'm gonna put it actually in A. There's the story, the backstory, the Easter eggs, the Mars thing carries the lore in Shangri-La a lot. I'm trying to think, did any songs that I miss? Call of Duty had a good song. That song's really good. Ascension, I'm not too familiar with the song. Moon, Moon is very important. Actually, should I put it in A? I mean, should I put it in S? The only thing is the no gravity that I don't really like. But once you get situated, I'm forgetting the word that I want to use. Moon is actually a pretty easy map. You know, I'm gonna put it in A because it has the biodome. It has a lot of good areas. It has the hangar in the beginning, Area 51. That's pretty different and cool. It had a lot of different things. The weapon was really cool. The Easter eggs really good and important. And it's probably the most. I think people have mentioned it's the most well known thing. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna put Moon and then put Derice. Okay. So if you don't know, this is the best going the worst, I believe, how people do it. So Varrook being one of the most important, if not the most important. Keno is very important. Moon's important, and Derice, is important also. Transit. I'm gonna put Transit. Can you run out of space? In A and S. Transit is when I started, so I'm gonna put it there. Like most people, it's not terrible. I think the problem with, and I don't know if anybody even cares about this, Transit got the bad rap because I think that's when people and kids, I'm going to say kids, when kids realize, hey, I can make videos on YouTube and make a ton of money and don't know what I'm talking about, just complain about everything and make a ton of money. And if I just hate on everything, people are just going to agree with me. They're going to love me because I hate on everything. So I think Transit it has a lot. Transit's untouched. What I think happened with Transit, I think think of it like the Titanic sinking in the bottom of the ground for decades, and it hasn't been touched. It's untouched. Transit's the same way. Transit was made. They never went back to Transit except for Victus and stuff like that, and maybe inside the comics. But as far as like trying to fix or expand on what happened in Transit, I don't think they are ready. And PTSD is a real thing. You don't have to be in the army. You don't have to be in a car accident. PTSD is a real thing, no matter what your job is. I think people are so post-traumatic stress syndrome, if I did that right, or disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder of Transit. I think if the devs that were there when Transit first came out and then they make Transit and people crap all over it again, keep in mind back then there were probably a few zombie YouTubers. Now there's probably hundreds, if not probably thousands of zombie YouTubers that they're ready to just crap all over the game at any time. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to try and speed it up. Nuketown Zombies. It lacks a couple things, but it's still pretty good. It's pretty nostalgic. I'm going to actually go like this. Shinonuma is... Yeah, I'm going to leave Shinonuma there because, again, it's the Shadow Man. Die Rise is not terrible, but it's, Transit has its thing. I'm going to put Die Rise here. Mob of the Dead is definitely, even though I was like Team Jimmy at the time, it is what it is. It's pretty good. And same thing, Mamba Dead still has so much that's untouched as far as like backstory and lore. The only problem is that people have to realize is um, people don't want to revisit and redo everything over and over again. It's like, let's say you fix cars, you don't want to fix the same car every single day or year or whatever. You want to try different things. I think Mob of the Dead has so much that's untouched. Maybe we don't know about. Maybe it's in ciphers. Maybe it's in Easter eggs we haven't realized yet. But Mob of the Dead is really important. Without Mob of the Dead, also, I'm gonna actually put that above Moon. Mob of the Dead, Blackout, and Warzone would not have succeeded without Mob of the Dead and Alcatraz and stuff like that. So that definitely has to go up there. Also, Buried. Um, Buried is very important. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna actually go like that. Buried is really important. Actually, no, I'm gonna put Buried in front of Transit. Even though Transit is really important, Buried is more to do in a better map and stuff like that. It has quite the Easter eggs there too. Origins. You know what? I'm actually not gonna put Origins up top. I'm gonna put Origins second. No, the Shadow Man is the Shadow Man. I'm gonna put the Origins there because it's a big map. It's a little bit difficult. If you're willing to get a team together and people and learn the Easter egg, there's a lot there. So I'm gonna put Origins there. Shadows of Evil. Shadows of Evil has to be in the top, but I'm trying to figure out where up top. Okay, so Shadows of Evil. For Keno, Mamba the Dead, Moon. I'm gonna actually put Shadows here because it's actually really important in the story. A lot of Atlantis stuff there. A lot of Cthulhu lore. The Easter egg song is amazing. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put it above Moon. Who am I kidding? I'm just gonna put it above Moon. Because and then it was like the second, third generation of zombies. Der Eisendrache is really important too. I'm telling you, like, I'm not really gonna touch any of this bottom stuff. That's Zetsubo Nishima. I'm actually not gonna lie and kid you, but I'm gonna put that down there for now. That speaks for itself. It's a little bit difficult, the power thing. And Jason Blundell said that it was the testing stick or the marking stick or whatever they call it for see like what the zombies community's limits were, and that proved that everything in there the zombies community wasn't ready for, and that's proven, maybe including myself. But if you go back and play it, there actually is a lot to do in Zetsubo Nishima. There's a ton of stuff to do, so I'm actually gonna put it, believe it or not, above 5. Because there's a lot to do there. Gorod Krovi. Gorod Krovi, I love that. You know what though? Gorod Krovi is good, but it's not S tier. I'm gonna put that above here. Oh, wait, I messed that up. Yeah, I'm gonna put Gorod Krovi in A. It's great, but it's not. Not S tier good or great. Revelations. I don't want to be a hater like everybody said. You know what? I'm actually, and I said it's going to include everything. If people put the time to figure out the Easter egg, or the end cutscene, what it means, Revelations cutscene is very important. Really important. So I'm going to put that there. Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead was really good. Again, it was a measuring stick in its own. So I'm going to put that actually. Where's Mom? Mom does up there, Blood of the Dead. I'm going to actually put it here. Blood of the Dead, Gorod Krovi. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. That's not terrible. Okay. Classified. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here because They didn't change too much. It was a little bit easier, but I'm gonna actually put it above 5, but I'm not gonna. Voyage Despair. I'm gonna put Voyage Despair in. As much as I love Chaos, I'm actually gonna put Voyage of Despair in B. Keep in mind, I'm not touching any of these, so these are all still pretty good. Voyage of Despair is a great map. The only thing that doesn't add up, I know it's probably a movie. I don't know if it was actually a real life event, so that might be why. But Voyage the Spirit should have been named Poseidon for the backstory because there's the same exact story as Titanic but called Poseidon. I don't know if that was a movie, so they can't use that title. I obviously don't think it was a Greek. I don't think it was a Greek story, so it's not in the public domain, so to speak. But the only knock I have on Voyage of Despair is that it doesn't have. It should have been named Poseidon's Fury, I think is the name of the movie, or Poseidon or something. It would have fit so perfectly in the whole story and the lore. Why they named it Titanic and built it on the Titanic doesn't necessarily make sense to me, and I hate to say that because I'm always pro Treyarch, but that decision I'll never understand why they didn't just name it Poseidon based on the Poseidon ship that overturned. And it would be kind of cool if we were in the ship underwater, but there wouldn't be as much to do. But that would be a little bit different. Could have been like you could have mixed like Poseidon versus and Die Rise at the same time, but again, maybe they tried and it didn't work for some reason. 9. 9 is nostalgic for me because that's when I got really involved, and it's an easy map. It's pretty fun. That one's pretty cool. I love the crew. But as far as where it should be, I'm just gonna leave it there for now. Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night's great, but good, but it's not great. I think they should have worked on a couple things, like more in the forest part. You really just go there to use Pack-a-Punch. Because the Patch Punch is in the forest, right? And that's really it. They should have did more in the forest part, but that's why they changed the Easter egg. Is because nobody really, if you don't do the Easter egg, if you don't do the Easter egg, you're missing a lot on the map. They need to remaster a lot of those maps and have the Easter eggs a little bit easier. Because have the same mechanics, everything, but easier Easter eggs. Because Dead of the Night has a lot of stuff in the forest that you can do, and the cemetery and stuff like that. But you'll never see that. I'll never see it. Ancient Evil. People love Ancient Evil, but that's pretty great too. So, Ancient Evil, I'm going to put it here. People love it. I love it. Pegasus is pretty cool and different. Alpha Omega. Alpha Omega, I'm going to put in A for a lot of different reasons. That was the first time I kind of really got involved with Treyarch with some stuff. Fan stuff, not anything professionally, but with fan stuff, I really like what they did. For that I'm actually not going to talk about too much. Unless you're interested, then let me know. The map opened up everything that we wanted to see underground. It was done for a fan service. Tag Toten. Tag Toten's pretty good. I'm going to leave that in A. Whoops, that probably doesn't. Yeah, I can probably leave it up there. That's fine. Die Machine. Die Machine is the war zone of zombies. It's the thing that brought everyone to the game. So I'm gonna actually put it fourth. Wait, did I mess it up? Not fourth. Knocked on. Wait, that messed up. This should go down here. So I'm gonna go Die Machine, Mabada. I think Mabada is more historically known, but Die Machine opened the door on a whole nother level. So this is the most important, and I guess that's the thing. You'll see what's more important to people if it's the backstory, the lore. Firebase Z. Firebase Z, it's great, but it's almost too easy. So I'm gonna put that here. There's some movie stuff involved with that, so that's pretty cool. Mauder Toten, Berlin. Another one that opened the doors for a lot of people. So I'm gonna actually put in the S tier. Outbreak. Outbreak again is a groundbreaker. Outbreak. Outbreak might actually be third important also. People might not like it, but it's the same thing. And that's the thing with zombie YouTubers. If I tell you, hey, you can make $1 million or you can make $10,000, you would obviously choose the $1 million. Outbreak is again opening the door for a lot of new players and stuff like that. It's relaxing. It's a little bit easier in the earlier rounds. There's a lot to do, a lot to move around. COD Mobile, use stuff for inspiration. It's probably going to lead the door to Transit in the next game or soon. Transit Town, that for me is more nostalgic than Mob of the Dead, believe it or not. So this again is my scale. Bus Depot, another one. But Town has more you can do. Bus Depot doesn't, so I'm going to leave that here. And Farm. Farm is great, but I'm going to put it in A just because it's Misty's map. And I'm going to leave it there. So, again, that's everything up until this point. I don't think there's anything that belongs in C, D, or F. Again, if you have stuff in C, D, and F, it's because you don't practice, you don't do your research, you don't look up stuff. I think if you put the time into practicing or looking up stuff, doing your research, then you'll probably wonder why or realize. Again, for Rook, the Easter eggs on the walls, the song, the map, the atmosphere, that's probably, I hate to say, but one of the most known and famous maps, and for good reason. Keno is important for the movie theater. And without Keno, we wouldn't have IW Zombies. People love IW Zombies. The backstory, a lot of stuff with the shadow pictures on the walls. Outbreak doesn't need any explanation. Town is nostalgic. It's pretty good. You have Pack-a-Punch. You have everything in one spot. Town should be the quintessential map, I think, what people should base. I mean, that's going to be too easy, but a quick, easy, fun survival map. A side map, I guess, so to speak. Mob of the Dead. All that. I should probably put Alpha Omega a little bit higher, but I'm trying to think of where I can put it. I'm going to put it after here. Just for me, because it's really important for me. It means a lot. Go look at the loading screen if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys later.